Hey everybody, this is Dr. Chris Dost. Welcome to my Biblical Greek channel. This video is the 5th lesson in my Biblical Greek course, and in this lesson we're going to be covering the letters Rho through Upsilon. Rho through Upsilon. Now, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell to be notified of all future videos that I publish, and if you would, please be sure to click the like button as well. I really appreciate your support. All right, let's get started. So in this video, we're going to be reviewing all of the letters of the Greek alphabet that we've learned so far. We're going to be introducing 4 new letters, and then we will be reviewing vocabulary that we've learned, and then we'll look at a verse that we've been working on in the New Testament, and I haven't told you what verse that is, but we've been slowly learning to read that, and by the end of this video, you're going to be able to read through a complete verse from the Greek New Testament. Now, to watch the entire video, please be sure to go to www.learnbiblicallanguages.com, where I have my Hebrew library, my Aramaic library, a full Greek library, as well as a library of videos on translations of the Bible, both ancient and modern. Okay, so the first letter that we learned was alpha, which typically makes an ah sound, alpha, followed by beta, which makes a b sound, like in boy. Gamma, which makes a g sound, g. Delta, which makes a d, like in dog. Epsilon, which is a soft e, typically, like in the word every. Then we have zeta, which makes a Z sound like in zebra, or sometimes a DZ sound, a DZ combination, which we typically don't encounter in English at the beginning of a word. But for now, if you pronounce it as a regular Z sound, that'll be fine. Then we have eta, which is really a long E sound, like in the word obey, And that's followed by theta, which is the soft TH sound, like in the word thing. Then we have iota, which is a long E typically, like in the word machine, but it often serves as a Y consonant, especially in names that come over from Hebrew that begin with the Hebrew letter Yud, as in the name for Jesus, which in Hebrew is Yeshua, with a Y at the beginning. In Greek is Jesus, and that begins with the letter iota, because Greek doesn't have a letter that corresponds to the Yud of Hebrew, or Y in English. Then there's kappa, which is a K, like in kick. Lambda, which is an L. Mu, which makes an M sound, ma, like in mother. Nu, which makes an N sound, as in night. Xi, this makes the X sound, or a KS combination, like we get at the end of the word kicks. That KS sound can be one letter in Greek. Xi. And then there's omicron, which we typically pronounce as a soft O, like in the word cot. Followed by P, which is a hard P sound, like in paternal. That's followed by Rho, which is one of our new letters, Rho, and words that begin with Rho often have a rough breathing accent, or a rough breathing sign before them, I should say. Sigma makes an S sound, sigma. And you'll notice that in the minuscule forms, there's actually 2. So the minuscule form to the right is how sigma appears at the end of words, The one to the left is how it appears at the beginning of or in the middle of a word, but they make the same sound. S. That's followed by tau, tau, which makes a t sound, tau. And then upsilon, which makes an oo sound. Now, oftentimes, when you have a Greek word that has an upsilon in it, it comes over into English as a Y, like the word dynamite. In Greek, that actually comes from the word for power, dunamis, dunamis. But we'll talk more about that later. And then finally for today, we have the letter omega, which is a long O, and that's the last letter of the Greek alphabet. So we only have a few more to learn, and we'll look at those in the next video. But let's get started looking at some words that include the 4 new letters that we've learned, the first one of which is Ro. So here we have the word Rabbi, Rabbi, which really comes from Aramaic, and it means rabbi or master. You have to be careful when you translate the word, or when you encounter the word Rabbi in the Greek New Testament. Remember that a rabbi at that time was rarely what we think of as a rabbi today. It wasn't quite as formal of an office as a clergy member. And so it's no surprise that Jesus is called Rabbi, which means, master, teacher, but rabbi works. The word peri, peri, which has the letters P, epsilon, rho, and iota, peri, or peri. Sometimes I pronounce these words with a Hebrew accent, sometimes with a Spanish accent, sometimes with Arabic. Sorry about that. So this can mean concerning, around. It has a number of meanings, but for now, we'll just give you a couple basic meanings. Peri. The word for day is hemera, hemera. And we have an eta, which has a rough breathing mark above it, followed by mu, epsilon, with the acute accent, hemer, hemera, with rho, followed by alpha. The name Mark is Markos, Markos. So we have mu, followed by alpha, rho, kappa, omicron, and then final sigma. So that's what sigma looks like at the end of a word. The word meaning heart or mind, cardia, cardia. And so we've got kappa, alpha, rho, delta, iota, alpha. And that's where we get the word cardiac and cardiology in English. So cardia. The word that can mean man, male, or husband, I think we've seen this before, aner, aner. And so that's alpha, nu. Remember, it looks like a V, but it's really an N. Alpha, nu, eta, rho, aner, aner. The word for is gar, gar, gamma, alpha, rho. We've encountered the word man, anthropos, before, anthropos, that has an alpha with a soft breathing mark and an acute accent, anthropos. Alpha, nu, theta, rho, omega, pi, omicron, sigma. Now, the lexical form or the dictionary form for each, every, or all is pas, passa, and pan. And I put all 3 of them here. The one to the left, pas, is the masculine, passa is the feminine, and pan is what we call the neuter. We'll talk about the neuter gender in Greek later. But you'll notice that the masculine form pas is P alpha sigma, and because the sigma is the last letter in the word, it takes the final form. But in passa, the feminine form, the sigma is not the last letter, and therefore we get the other form of sigma. Pas, passa, pan. Now, the word Christ is a word that we've learned before that has both forms of sigma in it. So we have the letter chi, which we haven't learned yet. We haven't learned that word. What looks like an X is pronounced ki. at times and in various locations, it would have been pronounced kind of like chi, but you'll hear me pronounce it as a hard K. One of the things you have to keep in mind when we encounter this letter is that Greek, like English, Spanish, Arabic, is a language that was used and spoken for centuries and in various locations. And just like English is not pronounced the same way today in New York as it is in Boston or in Alabama or in Great Britain or in Sydney, Australia, there's going to be different pronunciations. And so there really is no one authoritative pronunciation, really, for any language when you get right down to it. But if you pronounce the letter ki as a hard K sound, that's fine. Some people will pronounce it as h, but rarely do such issues affect interpretation of a text in the New Testament. So it's really just not that big a deal, especially when you're starting out. The word know also has sigma in it, gnosko. Gnosko, we've got gamma, iota, nu, omega, sigma, kappa, omega. Gnosko. The preposition that means into or to, es. Remember that epsilon, iota are a diphthong. Oftentimes when they occur together, they make one sound. And so look at our verse that we've been working on. So we're going to first, before we read the text, we're going to identify the letters. So we've got epsilon, nu, alpha, rho, chi, eta, nu, omicron,